Who were you competing with, man? Who was you looking over your shoulder at, man?
To be honest with you, not to be disrespectful to no other producer, but Dilla. And he started in 95. Tip played me a beat tape, and I was like, yo, for real? You know, like, I was like, damn, this dude's gonna put me out of a job. Yeah, that's how I felt.
Dilla had you a little nervous.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dilla, man. You know, so Q-Tip played you he introduced you to Dilla. And then you flew out to
Detroit.
For what?
Just to hang with him. They, you know, mom's invited me.
Right. You know, his mom's was on the show.
Yeah.
Recently.
Oh, yeah. That's my homie.
Dukes was on the show. Shout out to my
Dukes. I just was in Detroit doing Dilla Day with her.
That's crazy. So, but you meet Dilla. You hear the shit Dilla's making.
Yeah. And
he's telling you you're inspiring him.
He says I was his favorite. And his mother used to say, all he wanted to do was be Pete Rock. And I was like,
you sound just like it. When you
I was like, wow. Like, for real? Like, he's done that and some. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, he's great.
You know, and you know who else I hear your influence on? Particularly in a recent track you did with Rock Marciano, a Specialist. It sounds.
Oh, word? You like that joint?
You know why? I mean, because
some people don't understand the funk, like the funk of a joint. Like me and Rock, he's like that. He likes rawness. Like he'll rap to something with no drums on it. Just
and his rhyme pattern is so unorthodox.
Yeah.
But on that track, The Specialist, it sounds like you.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Mad Lib.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's such a Mad Lib record.
I found that 45 in California.
Okay.
So, you know, Mad Lib on that side, on the West Coast, there's some records that's just like, that we don't know about that only came out on the West Coast. Like there's groups there that's, you know, you find a 45 like, yo, what's this?
Yep.
That's why I be on my game.
Okay, so that makes sense because when you hear that shit, it's got your DNA, and it got his DNA.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to Mad Lib, man. Rest
definitely.
in peace.
That's one of my favorite producers right now. Him and Knots and Dilla, and you know, of course, my era of producers, Primo.
Yes.
You know, everyone from the 90s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Showbiz. You know what I'm saying? Like Diamond D. Oh, man. The list goes on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone that was a part of that special.
That gives you that feeling of like, oh, man, I just heard, you know, someone new that's up and coming. And you go.
Well, at that time in the 90s, when I was making Iron Eyes album, that's when Dilla appeared. You know what I'm saying? And to me, after that, he still knew. You know, he was only 32 when he passed away. So when I met him, I think he might have been like 29, 30, something like that.
What was that like meeting him? I mean, I'm asking from your perspective because I know how much of a fan he was of yours.
Yeah, and I'm of his. It was crazy. It was crazy. Spent the whole week in his basement at his house and spent the night, no hotel, in his house, just sleeping, getting up the next day, looking through his records, like, oh, he has a lot of stuff that I've never seen that I used to be like, wow, I'm totally been sleeping. You know what I'm saying? That dude just, you know, a lot of 80s records he got his stuff from. You know what I mean? Like, stuff in the 80s.
Progressive rock records and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm steadily digging in the 70s. Still, I'm, you know, that 70s guy and them older joints, but that guy, man, stayed the whole week there, and his mother secretly said, she was like, you know what, he used to always say he wanted to be like you. And I'd be like, what? And I'd be like, yo, he done took it to the next level on me.
That's why I'm wondering, like, what was that whole week like?
It was crazy, man. I had my brother Grap was with me, and you know, we would take us around Detroit, show us the whole D. They would have shows performing songs I've never heard in my life. The crowd is going crazy, like they know this music, and I'm like, yo, why I don't know none of this. So then I'm asking them to make me a CD of all your shit, man. Like, yo, give me some joints, and you know, it was fun.
Did you guys work on anything together? He showed you how he does his thing?
Yeah, made beats in his basement, and we did songs in his basement. He had this trackboard thing. And, I remember, laying the SP beats down in it.
Did he show you anything that made you go,
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. On that 3000, I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. Stuff like that. And I'm showing stuff on the 12 that maybe he never knew with the SP 1200. You know what I'm saying? And it was like Kid in the Candy Store, man, with the both of us, because I was a fan too. I ain't gonna front. When Tip played me the cassette of his beats, I was like, yo, for real? Is a dude out there like making this thing? Type of beats. And then I met him, got a plane ticket, and just flew there. I said, I have to meet this guy.
Oh.
Did he pick you up at the airport?
Yeah, blasting Mecca and the Soul Brother. He was driving the Navigator, Lincoln Navigator, and as I'm coming out the door, he's rolling the window down, blasting For Pete's Sake. He's blasting it. And I'm getting in, and I have a cassette of beats on me. So I'm popping that in, and he's just going nuts. You know what I'm saying? Then I was like, I know you got some shit. Yo, come on, play me something. And he goes in, and I'm like blown. Totally blown. Yo,
yeah.
This guy's going to have me out of a job.
I was just about to say retirement. You hear, those sounds you're hearing is not the illest. It's someone just signed off your retirement slip.
Oh my goodness, that guy, man, he was unreal.
Ship off, Grandpa.
To this day,
finished.
Yep. To this day, I'm like, yo, that dude is not from Earth. He's not from Earth, man.
I just asked, if he showed you anything, which is just, says a lot about being open, because some people are so closed off. But we just recently talked with Large Professor, and I had asked him, what did learning about filtering, did he remember that moment when he first learned about filtering? And he said, yeah, you guys used to, rock, and you were homies back then, and you showed him how to filter.
Yes, sir. And then Eddie F showed me how to filter, because we were all new to this equipment. So when Eddie got the equipment, even Eddie was like, oh, wow. Oh, and then I'm like, oh. So then we start messing around with it, and then start finding things. And then we're playing around, and we're doing this, and we're doing that. And then one thing about me that I used to always get from Tip was like, yo, what's that wah-wah sound that you do? It was this certain EQ I had in Green Street. And to this day, I'm trying to find that EQ. I know I can get it, but it was this EQ was dope EQ, and it was very sensitive. So when you turn the knob, it's already making the sound, like, you know what I'm saying? So we fixed it to where it was, this is technical talk, by the way. So we were fixing it to where a certain place to where I know where I wanted to get. You know what I'm saying? And I used to do that, and Dilla asked me, like, yo, what is that? It's a wah-wah pedal? And I had everybody thinking it's a wah-wah pedal you hook up to a sampler or something. No, it's an EQ.
That's crazy. Tip never shared that with me, but
yeah.
Thank you. I got it from the man's mouth.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other piece of technological innovation within maybe like the past 5 to 10 years that have kind of made you feel excited about sampling, as with filtering? Because I know when I first discovered I could filter, it was all the records that you never touched that you could, now you can go in.
I stopped sampling half a bar loops to 1 bar loops to making it bigger. And the Joy song I did for Jay and Kanye was a perfect example of an old beat that I redid on the MPC and just added Curtis's vocal in there as well. So before the beat was just without Curtis, it was just the beat, with the bass line, the guitar, whatever. And then I said, let me go back and listen to that song.
Look at it, or was it just something within technology that makes it?
I had a different look at it, being that it was the new generation, and you heard a lot of producers sampling soul music again, with singing in it, and some on 45. You know what I'm saying? But here, I wanted to sample the actual singing on 33 the way it was made, which kind of, I think was kind of, it hit on the money. Jay-Z immediately remembered the song. He said his mother used to listen to it. Blew my mind when he got on the joint. So I was like, oh, okay.
Do you have to? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay.
No, go ahead.
Can you explain what it means between the 45 and the 33?
It depends on the human ear of a producer. It's like how you hear, how would you rock a sample? Some people do it on 45, some on regular speed, but I've heard a lot of interesting sound on a 45 or the actual speed, a 33 LP.
Played on a 45.
Yeah, played on 45.
So it's higher.
Yeah, it's higher, but there's also, certain things that only sound right on 45, believe it or not, because you're so used to hearing it another way. You know what I mean? And, it sounds just more interesting when you change it up a little bit.
Right. And how old was that song? The beat?
Which song?
The Joy.
Oh, man, since 1997, 98, I made that on the SP 1200.
Okay.
Yep. SP, man.
Can
Magic machine.
One more technical backup follow question. When you say the EQ is at Green Street, what is that? Like, why can't you get it out of there?
No, the Green Street is no more now. It's an art gallery. It's no more studio
it's gone?
there. Yeah, it's gone. So before they got rid of the place, they were selling the equipment in there. And I went back there to see if they had the EQ there still, and they didn't. So, but I remember the brand, at least, and I've been Googling it and just, you know what I'm saying, going
on eBay every day looking for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Craigslist, anybody. You got a fake name, fake account.
Seriously, I mean, it's just on some music stuff, but
now I know why we wound up recording part of Low End at Green Street. Now I know why. I was like,
I remember seeing Bob in there, and I was like, "What is he doing here?"
I'm like, Tip, why you want to leave Battery? Like, it's whatever. He was just like, "Nah, I just want to mess with Green Street." Now I know why.
It's a great sound in there, man.
Yo, that's hilarious, man.
2 A room, B room, B room is the bomb.
Yo, the things you learn.
Yep.
Man, I want to talk about the studios because fans aren't aware of this. How studios are very different, how rooms can sound very different, and then also like the vibe is different. Who comes through where? So what was special about Green Street? And then I want to get to Battery so that we can get into Illmatic that way.
Okay. Green Street was just special because that's kind of like, actually the first place I worked on my own was Chung King.
Okay.
I was 16 years old, and I was working with a group called Groove Be Chill.
Groove Be Chill.
Yep.
Wow.
And starting from Zero album, and which I ended up doing the title track, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And then I did another song on there called There It Is, where I was struggling with the engineer, not knowing what to do. You know what I'm saying? Just, and then it worked. It started working out. Each day I would come back and try again until we get this right. Because now I'm on a deadline. So boom, we got it done, and that was one of the first productions I've ever done. With that, and then Green Street was just a place that I love the sound. I actually sat and watched Bomb Squad make Ice Cube's album, America's Most Wanted, and I knew all the producers from Keith to Hank to Steve to the other little brother. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I ended up in Green Street.
And where was that? What name?
On Green Street in the Village, 112 Green Street, between Spring and Prince.
Okay. And then what about Battery? Was Battery special, or is that just where you were when you're working on?
Battery was special because Jive Zomba was in the building, and I think from the label being there created the studios. I don't know how long they've been there, but I know from you had a successful major label right upstairs. You know what I'm saying? And I've done work with Fresh Prince in there and Jazzy Jeff, and mixed the Nas of The World Is Yours in there. And while I was mixing The World Is Yours, DJ Premier was in there at that. And there was a few other heads in there. There was a couple other dudes in there while I was doing the scratches and, stuff like that.